Hey there, in this video I want to talk to you about fear of failure. A fear that is well known to many people, but what is it actually? What is fear of failure? Where is it coming from? How do you deal with it? How does it manifest itself in your life? How does it block you from doing the things that you want to do, from creating the life that you desire, or from starting with transforming yourself in your life? And also, if you experience it, how do you work with it? How do you overcome it? How do you make sure that fear of failure is not subconsciously holding you back from doing the things that you want to do? So first of all, what is fear of failure? I think everybody knows the concept and knows the words, right? I think it's one of the most common and well-known fears, the fear to fail. So why are we so afraid to fail? What is really behind this fear, and why is it so desperately trying to hold us back from doing the things that we want to do? Why is it creating this division inside of us, this paradox of the desire to change and transformation and doing new things, but also the fear of not doing it and holding us back and sabotaging or protecting us from doing the new thing? And to understand that, you have to understand what the fear of failure or fear in and of itself actually is. You are very afraid to fail because you do not want to be confronted with the consequences of failure. And what are the consequences of failure? Often, and almost always, the consequences of failure are you experiencing a suppressed emotion that you never wanted to experience again in your life. And this suppressed emotion can be grief or anger or sadness or rage. But almost always it has something to do with the pain that you have experienced as a little child in your childhood. Maybe you have experienced relational trauma or situational trauma. Maybe you have experienced a prolonged period of time where you felt unsafe. Maybe you had parents that weren't emotionally present with you, weren't capable of doing that because of their own traumas, their own pain, their own fears, and because of the society we are living in that is very emotionally immature. Maybe you have an abandonment wound inside of you, or a mother wound. Maybe you are experiencing the consequences of emotional neglect or childhood neglect. And as a little child, when you experience relational or situational trauma or emotional neglect, for example, you aren't capable of processing the heavy grief, anger, sadness that comes with experiencing that. So you suppress those emotions. Also, for example, if you were being shamed and blamed by one or two of your parents and caretakers often or always for expressing yourself authentically, for shouting, for screaming, for making noise, for being who you truly are, whatever they use to shame you or blame you, you have suppressed the shame and the grief that comes with that. Because experiencing heavy emotions as a little child is so intense and so hard to do on your own, and if you do not have the emotional mature support of your parent or caretaker and from our society as a whole, you aren't capable of doing that. So what you choose as a coping mechanism is to suppress the emotions that you are experiencing, suppress the grief, suppress the anger, suppress the shame. And you make a deal with yourself in some way, subconsciously or consciously, that you will never experience that emotion again because it hurts so much, and it gives you such a helpless, hopeless, and lonely feeling, an empty feeling. So you suppress it. And often these suppressed emotions are tied to experiences or situations where you felt shame, where you failed, where you made a mistake, or where you thought you made a mistake, where you thought you were unworthy of love because you were blamed or shamed by your parents. So they are often tied or connected to situations where you truly failed, made mistakes, and were shamed for that, for example, or where you thought you failed and made a mistake, but you never did, but your parents punished you or blamed you or shamed you for something that you never did, which made you internalize the story that you are wrong, made a mistake, that you are a failure, a loser, unworthy of love, etc. All these stories that you can create as a little child, right? And what happens in the present moment? Parts of you are still tied to your past, as I always say. Parts of you are still tied to all the negativity that you have experienced. They left a trace inside your body and inside your subconscious mind. And subconsciously, these wounds, these traces, are controlling, dictating, and influencing your life and choices. So when in the present moment you are about to do something that you have never done before, to change your life, to transform your life, to speak up, to set a boundary, to create your art, subconsciously these past fears, these past thoughts and memories to negative experiences will be triggered, and they come up Subconsciously, you're not aware of that, and they will sabotage you. They will block you. They will try to protect you from ever feeling the suppressed emotions that you have inside of you again, because that was so heavy for you to experience that you are doing everything to not feel that suppressed emotion anymore, to not be reminded of the shame, the blame, or to not be reminded from the grief and the emptiness that you feel. So fear of failure is actually the fear of the consequence of failure. And the consequence of failure is you being confronted with the pain from your past. And that is what you are trying to protect yourself from. That is how you are trying to help yourself. So actually, fear of failure and self-sabotaging behaviors and coping mechanisms, they're not really a bad thing. It's actually very helpful. It's a protection mechanism. You just want to help yourself and to not ever experience the pain from the past again. But if you truly want to change yourself in your life and transform and finally do the things that you so long for, the dreams that you have inside, creating and expressing your art and sharing yourself with the world, speaking your truth, setting boundaries, you have to go to the suppressed emotions, the suppressed pain, the suppressed grief, the suppressed emptiness, the relational trauma, the situational trauma, the emotional neglect. You have to go to your biggest fear, your biggest suppressed pain and emotion. Listen to it, acknowledge it, accept it, grieve, cry, feel it, see it for what it truly is, and integrate it into your being, as I always say. Invite it into your existence, talk to it, see it as part of your reality, and then become one with it, integrate it. And then with that fear, understand what you need, understand what the fear needs, as if it is a little child. Give it what it needs, and then move on and go do the things that you want to do. And trust me, when you want to transform yourself in your life, when you are going to do the things that you have never done before because you want to grow and have a dream and a vision, you will be confronted with all the pain that is still left inside of you. It cannot go without each other. So if you want to learn why you are afraid to fail, ask yourself, what do I want to do? Why am I not doing it? Why am I so afraid to fail? What happens when I fail? What do I believe about myself when I fail? What are the thoughts that I have? For example, for me, I'm doing the things that I need to do to create the dreams that I have. But I have this habit of not doing everything I possibly can to create the dreams that I have and to create them faster than I'm doing right now. I'm holding myself back. I slow myself down. And when I ask myself, why do I do that? I have this answer of that I am afraid when I do everything I can that I will fail. So I'm not doing everything I can because then I can tell myself, well, I have not done everything I can, so there's still hope to do something and succeed. And then I ask myself, why am I so afraid to fail? What happens when I fail? And I already feel this in my body, in my solar plexus, the place of my stomach. I already feel the heaviness over there and the sensations. What happens when I fail? Well, then I have these thoughts. Then I am nobody. Then I am a loser. Then everybody else can do this, but I cannot. And then I am bad at what I do. Then I'm doomed to live a life that I do not like and love, etc. I have all these thoughts around the failure. And then I ask myself, okay, well, what happens when that is true? And then I feel like an emptiness inside. And I know, because of the tools that I use for myself and the work that I do already for a long time, that this emptiness that I feel actually is the grief. And it will be a confirmation of the biggest pain and trauma that is living inside of me. Ask yourself, what do I want to do? Why am I not doing the things? Why am I afraid to fail? What happens when I fail? What do I believe about myself when I fail? And what is that a confirmation of? And then, of course, go to the emotions underneath it. And then it's time to feel those emotions, to sit with them, to process them, to grieve, listen to what it needs, give yourself and these little babies inside of you what they need. Ask them, how can we work together? How can we co-create? What are your ideas? What can we do to move on? Because when you let your biggest fear come true, you will be free. And letting your biggest fear come true is nothing more than processing, feeling, healing, releasing and integrating these suppressed emotions and pain from your past that you are so trying to deny, that you are so trying to walk away from. And that is how you free yourself from or overcome your fear of failure. It's not something that you can let go of in an instant. It's an active thing that you have to do, experiencing these suppressed emotions that are behind the fear of failure. Work with them, listen to them, soothe them, integrate them, and then go do the things that you need to do to create the life that you so dream of. Hi there, my name is Myrthe Glasbergen. I'm the founder and owner of Beyond Psychology, and I'm also a psychologist, coach, intuitive singer, and creator. And away from traditional talk therapy and coaching, I have created tools for mental well-being with healing music, poetry, spoken word, voice healing, and song that help you to reduce stress, overcome anxiety, regulate and master your emotions, and heal your suffering at the root. And if you want to work on the topic of this video or on the topic of one of my other videos, you can do this in 3 ways. You can work one-on-one with me, just check the link below. You can also check my web shop where I have gathered all my tools for healing, meditation, somatic exercises, visualizations, and healing music. And you can subscribe to my membership and online platform. It will give you access to all of my tools at once. You can now check it out for 5 days for free. Check the link below, start your free trial, and heal your suffering at the root. Thank you for being here and have a nice day.